Hi, Lynn.
Hello, Ginny.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Okay, yeah. Just my hair,
Don't worry about your hair.
it's like sticking up. Oh my gosh. Well, anyhow, maybe I'll
Yeah.
brush it. I'm just gonna leave for a moment to brush my hair
You
down.
do what you need to do. I'm just pulling up the documents and things.
Okay. So, I don't know why it's showing that way, but I would like to, if we could, add to the agenda.
Uh-huh.
The school building, because I had a conversation today with the Lauren Rodriguez. She's the principal at Southeast Elementary School. She's going to be the principal. Cold?
Yep.
Oh, gee.
No, just sneezing.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, and she was talking about that she's trying to find homes for the furniture, all the furnishings in the school, because they're not allowed to bring anything into the new school. It has to be all brand new stuff to go with color schemes, I guess.
Really?
Yeah. I thought that was so disappointing because that kind of that doesn't really mesh with the whole idea of
Net zero.
sustainability. So I just wondered if we could add that to the agenda.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. Hi, Katie.
Hello.
Hi, Katie.
How are you?
I'm good. Okay, off my computer.
You got through your election?
Yes, I did, and I won.
Were you running for planning and zoning?
Correct.
Okay. You've been an alternate, correct? Or
Yeah, and this last spring, I was put on as a full commissioner,
right.
but I had to run to keep my position. But I was running unopposed, so
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. I voted for you.
thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
I'm always surprised with it. I got 906 votes.
Wonderful.
And I'm saying to myself, I don't know 906 people, but
yeah, but you got the votes. That's awesome.
that's what counts.
Yeah, right.
I didn't win by just one or two, so.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yep. Hi, Lena.
Hi, Lena.
Welcome to the meeting.
Hi, sorry, I was on mute.
Oh, no worries.
Sorry.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. Yep. It's open to the public. I mean, usually the public can just call in and listen, but you're interested in the committee, so you're invited into the online circle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll do, people are just gathering, so we'll do introductions and whatnot in a few minutes after people join us.
Yeah.
Here comes Bill. Sorry, I'm snacking before the meeting gets started.
It's all
'Cause I'm
right.
starving.
Because why?
I'm starving.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is dinner time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. It's
Not
it's
for me. We don't eat until about 8 o'clock.
really.
Well, because of meetings, Mondays.
Yeah.
If I don't have a planning and zoning one, he's got town council.
Oh,
And-
yeah. What a,
So.
I think I'm hungrier now that it's dark earlier. I'm like, I
Yes.
could, what, this is harder to wait until.
Yeah.
We're gonna eat after, but I'm just having
Yeah.
snacks.
yeah, that's fine. Hi, Bill. Good to have you here.
Hey, Bill.
I didn't get any members saying that they could not attend. Yeah, do you know, Katie, is Al available this evening?
He isn't
or-
home from work yet. He's gonna try. He'll
Okay,
probably get on as soon as well, I don't know if he can or not. I was thinking he had another meeting tonight.
yeah, okay.
Yes, and he got reelected to his position on the town council also.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So Susanna's teaching, we don't expect her. Peter,
Right.
maybe?
He is on. Hi,
Here
Peter.
I am.
Oh,
Hi.
hi, Peter. And Matt, have we heard from Matt?
I didn't hear that Matt was unavailable, so I expect him as well.
Oh,
And
let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we need? 4 for a quorum?
yeah, yep.
Oh, nice. Okay. I am going to call the meeting to order at 6:01. Welcome to the Mansfield Sustainability Committee meeting of November 10th. Welcome, everyone. We are gonna start. We have a guest interested resident with us tonight. So let's just start with introductions. I'll start. Lynn Stoddard. I am the chair of the committee and yeah, a representative from the resident sector. Katie.
I am Katie Fatoni. I am a representative from the Planning and Zoning Commission, also a resident.
Bill, are you able to unmute? Bill, you work on unmuting. We'll have Peter introduce himself.
Hold on. Oh, there I am. I guess I am unmuted.
I hear you.
Peter Millman. I'm a mere resident of Mansfield.
Mir.
I think I'm
Yep.
unmuted. I am right now.
Hi, Bill. We hear
How you
you.
doing? Yeah, I can now. I retired putting in Mansfield. Old guy.
Longstanding member of the committee, Bill
Yes.
Lennon.
Yeah.
And Ginny?
Oh, Jenny Walton, and I'm the recycling coordinator and I staff this meeting.
Awesome. And Lena?
Hi, I'm Elena Hancock. I'm also a Mansfield resident and I'm interested in joining the committee and getting involved.
Yay. So everyone has to be on the
That's
best
great.
behavior because we want Lena to join our committee because she'd be awesome. All right. Well, welcome everyone and Lena, thanks for your interest. Let's see. I will entertain a motion to approve the October 13th meeting minutes.
So moved.
Thanks, Peter. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Bill.
Oh, Bill can
Okay.
Oh,
second it.
thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, passed with unanimous vote. Awesome. Okay, that's our big vote of the night. We have a number of things on the agenda, as you saw, and we're gonna add one other item, which is a little update discussion on the construction of the new elementary school. So let's see. Let's just, why don't we tuck that in as number 9, maybe? And here we go. Ginny, it looks like you teed up to talk about the.
Here comes Mac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, so I wanted to keep you abreast of what is going on with the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, since there's some overlap here. EPR stands for Extended Producer Responsibility, and State Representative Greg Haddad will be coming to next Tuesday's SWAC meeting to talk about packaging EPR. So I wanted to just show you a little bit about this great website, which really clarifies what extended producer responsibility is. And it's really just a funding mechanism for the end of life of products. So it's taking the externalized management of products at the end of their life. So producer produces things, they get sold, and it's up to usually municipalities to deal with the end of the life of the product, either through waste pickup or recycling. And extended producer responsibility says, you know, you make the stuff, manufacturer, so you are also responsible for assuming the cost of managing the products at the end of their life. And the intent behind it is really to encourage redesign of products. It doesn't always work out that way, but redesign of products to make them more recyclable, more durable, or less toxic in some cases. And right now in Connecticut, we have 4 EPR laws. We have one for mercury thermostats. You may be familiar with the electronics recycling law. That went into effect like 20 years ago, is it? Maybe it's not that long ago. 12 years ago. Before that, Mansfield was paying the cost of recycling electronics. Now it's electronics manufacturers that pay for the cost of recycling them. We also have a paint stewardship law. So you can bring paint to the transfer station, and the latex paint gets, the oil base gets incinerated. So not everything gets recycled, but a lot of it does. And before it didn't. Before, we had to pay to handle paint as a hazardous waste, which is pretty expensive. And we also have a mattress. The newest one is a mattress law. So so we're looking to packaging now, which is pretty much everything in the recycle cart: cardboard, plastic water bottles, air pillows and packaging, styrofoam peanuts, cans, glass bottles and jars. So now it would be the requirement of the manufacturers of these very diverse products to pay for the cost of managing them. So there are different elements of EPR, and last year, no, this year, we're still in this year, the Maine and Oregon passed the first packaging EPR law. And so there are different elements of EPR laws. Now, Maine's EPR law says we're going to continue to use the same infrastructure we have in Maine, but you manufacturers, you will reimburse municipalities for their cost of managing it. Oregon's EPR law is more like manufacturers, you need to form a recycling organization or a central organization that manages this. You can still use the same infrastructure that's in place, but you're going to be managing it all. So you're going to be absorbing the cost. The municipalities will not be paying for any of this anymore. So it's really taking the costs from, in most cases, taxpayers. In Mansfield, it's not, it's user fees for trash service or using the transfer station, and putting it, taking it from the municipalities and putting it back on manufacturers. So we are talking to Greg Haddad about what we'd like to see happen this year. There will be a bill introduced in the legislature this year. And so town council has already said, has already passed a resolution called the Break Free from Plastic Pollution Resolution that that has their consent or their agreement that packaging EPR is a good move to make. And so I just wanted to make you aware of that. And I don't know if you have any questions about this. I'm going through it pretty quickly, but you know, it might be at some point, this committee might be called upon along with SWAC to send some testimony in favor of the packaging EPR. So.
Ginny, I have a question.
Yes.
So it seems like, I mean, I like this a lot. It seems like an incredible accounting challenge. In other words, you know, a company that sells something through one of the stores at the mall, at one of the malls, and I mean, just all of the ways that a resident of Mansfield might be throwing away something. Could have gotten it from Amazon, from a mall in Manchester. Could have bought something here in stores itself.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you know that which piece of plastic, you know, where did that piece of plastic come from? How do manufacturers know? How do town governments know who to charge for this piece of plastic or this ton of plastic?
Yeah, that's part of the elements to work out. There are ways to do it. I mean, there's like the mattress. I know packaging is much more diverse than the other EPR laws that we have, because those other EPR laws are very specific to product type. But that's one of the things that gets worked out with the manufacturers and that central organizing group as to who pays what share of the products that are sold. So it is. There are a lot of, as you look at this website, there are a lot of elements to it, you know, and one of them is this producer responsibility organization. You know, who is that made up of, and the cost coverage and fee structure, I think, is what you're referring to probably most, Peter. But, you know, they've been doing it in Canada for years. They've been doing it in Europe for years. So really, the United States is kind of the latecomer in packaging EPR. And, you know, there have been lessons learned through some of these laws. One of the things that's emphasized nowadays is this eco-modulation term, which means that if your packaging is, let's say it's a pouch, which is a composite of plastic, it can be also include metal, can also include paper. So anything that's a composite of materials is much harder to recycle. In fact, you know, we don't recycle pouches because it's just, so difficult to do. So for instance, eco-modulation would grade different types of products differently. So flexible packaging, you'd be the manufacturer that would be charged more than if they were packaging in, say, a cardboard box. So eco-modulation can help to drive changes in product design, and can also, if it's done well, drive products to go more toward being reusable and durable. So I don't know if that answers it doesn't answer your question specifically, Peter, but it's one of the details that needs to be worked out. So, and the way they've done it with the other EPR laws is they gather the different manufacturers together to craft the elements of the law covering all these different pieces.
I had a question too, Jenny.
Hi, Matt.
Hello, how you doing?
Good.
Normally, I've seen this kind of take a couple twists. I mean, we all know manufacturers, anything they have to pay for, they just pass on to us. So, you know, but it has to get done. We can't just, you know, flush the environment down the toilet, if you will. And I think I get what you're saying, like the intent would be to have them, I don't know, my head's getting all clogged now. The intent would be to have the manufacturers package in such a way that it doesn't have a lot of this stuff in it. And it doesn't have a lot. I've been wondering too, if there's any push to get rid of the planned obsolescence of equipment, especially electronics. I mean, our cell phones are on a 2-year, it's like, boy, 2 years comes, you don't have to pay attention. Your cell phone will just stop working, right? And I was talking to some people too. It's like even your TV, everything, no matter what happens, you just throw it away and you get a new one, essentially. And has there been any movement, pressure, or anything that you know about to try to make products that actually last longer or are more modular, that could be fixed, where you could have replacement pieces? And I think Peter asked the question. I missed part of it. I'm single dad tonight, so I had to go interfere with one of my kids was having a fit. But I think he said it too, like Amazon. So you get the package of whatever you're buying, and then that's shipped to you in another package. And it seems, I mean, Amazon, I did see yesterday, I'm sorry, I'm long-winded. I had 10,000 thoughts as you were speaking, and they all got jumbled up. I saw Amazon yesterday. We got something in the mail that my wife had ordered, and it was in a bag, and the bag said on it, this takes up X amount % less packaging than our smallest cardboard box. So you do have places that are actively doing it. But is there any kind of talk about the shipping pieces? And is there any talk about making products that actually can be repaired, or making higher quality products? I know when I buy things, I may not be able to buy the most expensive, but I don't buy the cheapest because I don't want it to break. I generally have stuff for life. That's what I'm looking for, a lifetime purchase. So whatever I buy, I'm going to have till, you know, they're putting me in the ground, and maybe they're going to put all my junk with me. I don't know, but I don't want to, I hate throwing stuff out. I just can't stand it. So I'm sorry, that was long-winded.
So in terms of reusable, durable packaging, yes, the eco-modulation feature would be where it would be, they'd be addressing value in, you know, greater value for things that are refillable and reusable. So like Oregon's bottle bill has a strong focus on refillable beverages. Lynn, your daughter's in Oregon, right?
Yep.
maybe you've encountered that even, I don't know. But yeah, and then as far as products, planned obsolescence, well, can be captured in these EPR laws, but like the electronic EPR law that we have doesn't put an emphasis on long-lived electronic equipment. So, but it could be a place where it resides.
I'm just wondering if it's not even possible anymore. I mean, when you think about our cell phones, I was looking at, I mean, it just seems like, who was that? Samsung Galaxy was having one that folds up now, and it's just, so the technology is even changing. I don't even know if it could be modular anymore. I'm not even sure if that's a possibility. We just may live in an age where the tech is changing at a pace where they can't make it modular. I don't know. Maybe modular is an artifact, but well, thank you, Jenny.
Yeah, Ginny, thanks for this update and the work that the Solid Waste Advisory Committee is doing. It's great that Representative Haddad's going to join you. And yeah, so at this point, it sounds like nothing for this committee to do, but we appreciate being aware of this. And if we run into Greg, we can mention it to him as well. And yeah, when the time comes, if there's legislation in Connecticut that, I don't know, Mansfield wants to weigh in on or something like that, we can engage as residents, of course. Great. Okay, let's keep moving on here. Sustainable CT is the next agenda item. And as we discussed last meeting, our certification from 2019 will expire during the year of 2022. So a year from now, unless we have submitted for recertification and earned it, Mansfield will no longer be a certified community. So obviously we don't want that to lapse. We'd love to continue at the silver level, and it takes a lot of work, as we know. Ginny and Jennifer Kaufman did most of it last time. We talked last month about possibility of getting a intern from UConn, maybe even one of the former Sustainable CT fellows, to help the town of Mansfield. And yeah, Ginny, do you have any other thoughts or updates, or did we want to talk about strategy, or what are you thinking?
I do have an update. Jennifer and I met with the town manager, Ryan Aylesworth. It was just yesterday, wow. And to talk about, introduce him to Sustainable CT and give him a kind of an outline of what would be asked of the town if we were to renew the certification. So what we did ask was that he bring it to the department heads and the schools. I gave him an outline of the different categories and possible groups and departments that would be involved in it. And we asked that the directive come from the town manager's office instead of from me and Jennifer, because me and Jennifer were asking our colleagues to, do things, and it would be better if it came from the top honcho. So he is bringing that to the department heads, where I think we could do it differently this time around is to have more group input and involvement. So the sustainability committee, there might be something that as a committee, as members, you could help with putting together an element of this. You know, maybe it's hosting, or maybe it's being involved in an equity training, or maybe, I don't know. I guess one of my thoughts is that if the committee were to, and we could do it at this meeting, we could do it at another meeting, look at the different actions to see if there was something that would be a nice fit for the committee to take on, an action that the committee actually take on. I mean, one of the things we did, which will count, is Solar for All. That Solar for All campaign was done last year. So that was under the umbrella of the committee. There are things that is in collaboration with Wyndham, the Pollinator Pathway Project. That's also kind of under the umbrella of the Sustainability Committee. So there are some things, but you know, I don't know if there's interest in actually feet on the ground doing some actions.
Yeah, so I think we should be a little more involved than just kind of the monthly meetings. And that would be awesome if the town manager is kind of messaging this and spearheading it as this is what we're going to do. I think there's a huge role for the other committees in collaboration with the other committees too. So maybe when Ryan, you know, kind of messages this to the departments, maybe next month, this committee could take a look at the list of actions, which the 2022 actions are going to be live November 30th, but they're not changing a lot. And we could just start to say, okay, there are a few things here that probably the Ag Committee is working on. Let's bring it to their attention and see what they might want to do and accomplish this year. These are things that the Economic Development Committee might be working on. These are things that SWAC might be working on, and so on, to kind of spread it out. And I know, you know, the documentation is one thing, but the point is really to engage community and connect community on doing new things. And so there's plenty of time to make progress from where we are now to, you know, just like really make a difference in our town. So I'd be happy to, yeah, I think make that a focus of maybe next month's meeting or the following one. And yeah, the earlier we get started, the better off we're going to be. And there's lots of resources and whatnot that are available. So we could get ourselves lined up for those.
Lynn, are you thinking that the Sustainability Committee would actually communicate to like the Ag Committee, for instance, and say, hey, we were going through the actions and we saw whatever it is, you know? Like,
I mean, I think why not? You know, one of the cool things about Sustainable CTA is that it provides a framework for multiple committees within a town to kind of work towards the same goal while still staying in their lane of the things they really care about. So, you know, how cool would it be if kind of most of the committees had one or two things that they said, yeah, this would advance what we care about and we want to work on it this year. And, you know, it's kind of, it should be like a broad initiative of lots of different people and committees, I think.
yeah.
And that'd be easy to do, to figure out like which committees these different actions land in.
So do you think some prep work should be done first before bringing the actions to the committee, showing what we applied for in the past? Or
I mean, yeah, that's probably a good idea. So maybe,
Yeah. Okay.
I think that there's probably a high level spreadsheet showing what Mansfield did last time,
Yes, there is.
where they are, and then we can, there's some new categories now since Mansfield got certified. So for example, there's a homelessness prevention category and some other things. So the structure is a little different. So we need to kind of map it out to the new structure. And yeah, I mean, if I'm happy to kind of work with you to prepare that for the committee, if next month feels too, like not enough time, we could work on it for December or whatever.
No, I think it'd be
January.
fine. No, I think December would be fine. Because when I looked it over, the website, it looked like it's already done and the categories are realigned to the new numbering.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
Does anyone else have thoughts or comments on kind of how to approach sustainable CT or, yeah, engaging other committees or any of this? All right. Well, I mean, a lot of the other things that we talk about are all, they're all related, right? So as we talk about solar canopies, pollinators, the climate resolution, these things can all be relevant to our sustainable CT submission as well. Solar canopies update. So at our last meeting, you will recall, we kind of talked about how to approach this, and this committee voted to ask essentially the town manager to look at opportunities for solar canopies at town facilities,
Right.
focusing specifically on the town hall parking lot and Mansfield Middle School, correct? And we had some data from PACE that was attached to that. So Peter helped draft that letter with Ginny, I guess, and that was sent along. Did we get any response yet, Ginny?
So Kelly Lyman did say that they would be looking at that when because I guess they're doing a solar installation on the roof as well. But she's retiring.
Yep.
Or she's, the end of the school year. So it might come under the purview of a new superintendent. And then I don't believe I heard from Ryan.
Okay.
So, and I guess you didn't either, right?
I didn't.
Okay, yeah.
But we'll keep following that and offering to support. Any one of comments or observations on the solar canopy stuff?
Can I just say that, of course, I understand that E.O. Smith is its own organization, its own little government. Can the Sustainability Committee of Mansfield send an amended letter that's directed just to them and has just the data that was produced by PACE for E.O. Smith? Could we send a letter to them and say, just a kind of a friendly question? This is something you want to consider, or we think this is something you should consider.
I think we can.
Good
sure.
idea.
Yeah.
Be easy to adapt the letter. I guess we'd send it to the maybe the principal and the Board of Ed chair or the superintendent.
Yeah.
The superintendent or the school board or all three?
Mhm.
Regional board. I think all-
We're losing you a little bit, Peter.
You're thinking,
Can't hear you, Peter.
Sorry.
So Peter, I think you were saying all three.
Yep.
Yep.
I think I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the board is the one who actually makes the decisions for much of it.
Mhm.
It's a question of how you would want to get there. Do you want to try to get there by twisting the arm of the super and the principal and then kind of go to the board with them? Or do you want to just approach the board? The thing I wonder is, boy, I gotta be careful. I'm wearing two hats here. If you go to the board and they approve it, you've got it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
it might be one of those where you could send it to the board and then send a copy to the principal and the superintendent. I do know, though, our last superintendent had some little projects and she went and to the board with them, but I have a feeling that our board would be rather supportive of that idea.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought I had something enlightening to say and now I'm sounding.
Well, I
nonsense.
think it's a good point. It's who's the decision maker, and it probably is the board. So we could direct it to the board and then CC the others. I think that makes sense.
you would copy the superintendent and principal, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So do you want, are you suggesting that it be the same letter, except make it pertinent to E.O. Smith? Or Peter,
Yes.
you want to revise it? And
I'd be happy to revise it, but I'm going to mostly recycle it.
yeah,
Just taking out a few references to the town of Mansfield.
sure, okay.
And then you and Lynn can, if there should be, yeah, I mean, given that
Okay.
we're not members of the board or anything like that, but we're, we have a right to send them a letter, so.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll be glad to do that.
Okay,
great
and
Thanks, Peter.
then Lynn, either you or I would email it to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever you think's appropriate.
Okay.
Excellent. So let's move on to the climate resolution update. So as just a reminder, in September, the town council considered the resolution we drafted to acknowledge the climate emergency or climate crisis and to take action as a town. And we asked, basically the resolution set a goal of net zero greenhouse gas emissions from municipal government by 2030. It referenced past documents like the climate task force plan and the plan of conservation development, which had a lot of information in it. That there are a lot of actions and recommendations for reducing greenhouse gas emissions and addressing climate adaptation that have been already developed and vetted by many residents in the town and staff. And so the main thing was that within the next 6 months, each department would receive a baseline report of greenhouse gas emissions from municipal operations. So in other words, kind of like so much of our greenhouse gas footprint is from the town's fleet of vehicles, so much from buildings and so on, maybe by building. And then this information, they would use that to identify actions they've already implemented and prioritize actions for implementation within a year. To reduce emissions within their department's focus area. So it's a pretty powerful resolution. And I was in touch with Ryan, the town manager, to say that was so cool that it got passed by the town council. What's happening? And so he was great. He replied, he basically sent an email to all the department heads and let them know that this resolution had been passed on September 13th and that it made this commitment. And he flagged in yellow the things that they have to do. So this point that within 6 months, they have to be looking at the climate plans that have been adopted, identifying things they've already done, identify things they're gonna do. So that's at least a first step. I think they'll need a lot of support and figuring out, the greenhouse gas baseline stuff is something that's coming. But Ryan said he sent that, and there's already a flurry of discussion and activity following the email. So at least that's underway. I told him we stand ready to assist in any way that's useful. And Ginny, I think as an insider on the town staff, can help kind of let us know what you're seeing happening. And yeah, if anyone's asked you as staff to this committee, like what this is about or whatever. And I don't know, Ginny, if you've heard any more, but that's our update so far.
Yes, I saw the exchange of emails, and there was some response from the fire department, like on looking at some things that they could do. And there was the question of, well, who's providing the baseline data? So one of the things we do already track heating and cooling and electricity in the town buildings. We have fuel data for all the vehicles, the town vehicles. So I think I'm guessing it's pretty easy to convert that to greenhouse gas emissions. I mean, I would think there's a pretty basic tool to do that. I noticed on Portfolio Manager, which is the EPA's platform for tracking this stuff, that they also track waste, but I believe that's kind of a very basic tool. There is another EPA tool, because in that resolution, it's not only just electricity, heating, it's also, what are the products we use and their greenhouse gas consequences, because whenever you use a product, there's emissions associated with it over the life of that product. So yeah, so I said that I would look at converting the information, see whether we can convert the information that we've been gathering in one platform and move it over to Portfolio Manager, which would also align with Sustainable CT, right? Because
yeah,
Sustainable CT is now requiring that if you're doing any energy benchmarking, it needs to be through Portfolio Manager, not the platform that we currently use. And EPA's Portfolio Manager is free, whereas right now we're paying for this.
Yeah.
So I think the main thing will be keeping busy departments on task with this. And so, I don't know, I'm not quite sure where the role of sustainability would be on that, other than if there are tools, if there are resources that come up that could be shared, pertinent resources that could be shared with employees, or just following up and saying, how's it going? Did you hear about this resource, or I don't know. So Katie at the last meeting had offered to help with baseline data. So that's still whirling around in my in my
So here's a thought, Ginny. Portfolio manager is easy. There's a person at UConn, and I'll send it to you, who will help any town get set up and into all the buildings into portfolio manager and figure out hook the town up with the automatic data transfer from Eversource. So every month it feeds in automated. It's great. It's really easy. And Amy Thompson is troubleshoots and she's a partner with Sustainable CT and helps the towns with this with the cadre of students. So that should be really easy.
Okay.
In Energy Watchdog, there's vehicle information as well.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Is
So
there a
that's-
portfolio manager fleet information?
No.
Okay.
But what we did at Eastern was the town owns so many vehicles, just like the university. You get the list from the police department, the list from whatever, the other departments, and you basically have it. And someone in purchasing has like the vehicle ID numbers and whatnot. If they're fueled, are they fueled at a town fueling station?
Yeah, and every vehicle is recorded, how many gallons
yeah.
they're filled up. So we have
Yeah.
we have totals. Yeah.
So we just had a student like do that at Eastern, which is a lot of vehicles, and track the gas use, and then you can easily do the emissions, from one of these converters, calculators. And we also used it theoretically as a tool as vehicles got older and they were going to get replaced, what's like kind of as a prioritization tool. We know that this like backhoe from the facilities is like on its 10th year, whatever, and going to be replaced soon. So kind of prioritizing on the new purchase as these things roll through their lives, to increase, buy a vehicle with higher efficiency and whatnot. So anyway, it'd be pretty easy to like set up that type of spreadsheet, and maybe if some of the data is there, but not all of it, we could take Katie up on her offer. I'd be happy to share like the base spreadsheet that the student at Eastern created, if that's helpful. We get the vehicles and the buildings. Yeah, products and stuff, that's something, but it's a lot harder. But like we could get, gotta do the 80-20 rule. Let's just get the bulk of stuff we can and start rolling with it.
Well, one of the things that I have done every year, I didn't do it last year, but have been for, I don't know, a decade, is we're part of a state electronics challenge. So every year I've been reporting to the Northeast Recycling Council, the electronics that we use, that we purchased, that includes printers, whether they're rated, have the sufficiency rating, how much are recirculated through the system before they're recycled. So it's fairly comprehensive. The schools have not been included in that in the past, but I think with this, maybe that's something now we could fold into. And so they report back they report back our emissions, and waste and all that.
Oh.
Northeast. So we have that. We have paper usage. So, we could at least have those two things as product use, and there might be some products from facility too that we could track.
Sorry, that was going to be my question, to see if any of the like 2-stroke engine machines would be tracked like snow blowers, leaf blowers,
Hmm.
lawn tractors, because they emit a lot of really bad stuff.
I read an
Um,
article the other day that talked about those leaf blowers and lawn mowers, and they were saying that using a leaf blower for an hour or a string trimmer generates more greenhouse gas and bad emissions than driving a Toyota Camry or something like that. And I guess, oh, it was California just banned them as of like 2024. That was what it was.
The-
I'm
the
not sure on the year, but it was because they want them to go all the battery because they are so polluting.
That EPA report said that it was as bad as driving an F-150 from Texas to Alaska.
Lena, do you have the reference to that report? Is it online that you could send me the link?
Yep,
Okay,
I can put it in the chat.
yeah. Well, if you could email it to me,
Okay.
okay, that'd be great.
Ginny, is there anything in the system that would cause somebody looking at the boiler or furnace in any of the fire stations, for example, to look at switching to a heat pump as the heating system ages? Or are there any heat pumps, whether air source or ground source?
You know, maintenance has been, I would say maintenance has been really on top of these conversions, like the library has some mini splits.
Mhm.
And so the maintenance director and assistant maintenance director, they are really keyed into heat pumps as
Okay.
a source for heating. So yeah, and in fact, I was talking to Alan Corson, the director of maintenance, yesterday about the climate resolution and some thoughts he had about building envelopes. I mean, maintenance has done quite a bit, short of like the town hall, for instance. There could be a lot of things done in the town hall, but it would mean going down into the basement. There are crawl spaces. Those crawl spaces have asbestos in them, so it's like it's off limits. So things don't get done in the town hall because of asbestos, you know, and what would be involved in asbestos removal. So there are those kind of issues that the maintenance department needs to contend with.
Does anyone have any other suggestions or thoughts related to climate actions or getting, you know, helping the departments with that, or the counting, tracking stuff on the emissions? Bill, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. Well, this is good. I think it's promising. Like this is took us a long time to get that resolution kind of revised from what some of the other towns have done. That's just like, it's a climate emergency and we're upset, to it's a climate emergency and we're setting a goal as a town and we're gonna do these things in the next 6 months and then this in the next year. I think that's cool. And that, you know, departments are starting to look into that. So yeah, we'll help hold their feet to the fire, and, you know, people can send ideas on the tracking of the emissions and that kind of stuff. Cool. Pollinator pathways. Who's going to update us on that?
I guess I am. So
This is a lot of talking. Sorry, it's not a lot of discussion this time. But go ahead.
Well, I'm working on getting Mansfield on the Pollinator Pathway website. So there's a draft page, but you need to know the link in order to see it. So I think we're at the point where it can be live, but I don't have the web admin controls, so it has to be turned over to the admin at Pollinator Pathway. So I know that may seem like a very small thing, but it's taken the group a few months, the group meaning Wyndham, Mansfield, Chaplin, to come up with kind of a template of what the other towns web page will look like, so we thought we'd have similar pages since we're collaborating. The other piece of action is one of the barriers to planting native plants is that sometimes there aren't a lot of native plants available that are really adapted to our ecoregion or the ecotype. So we're in ecotype region 59C, and the Northeast Organic Farming Association actually has an ecotype project going on where they're enlisting various groups of people. So they're enlisting people to collect seed, native seed from the wild. They're enlisting farmers to plant the seeds and get a crop of these native plants so that they can then collect the seeds from that, and then nurseries to plant those seeds as plugs. So I've contacted NOFA and have not gotten a response. I've contacted them a couple times. So I will keep doing that because I'm a member. So they should be responding to me. Anyhow, because I think Tri-County Greenhouse might be one of those nurseries that would be interested in planting some of these seeds. I think that would be pretty exciting. And at the last meeting, somebody suggested E.O. Smith High School, their horticultural classes, having them plant some. One of the members is a long-term sub at middle school. She said the middle school could do some planting as well. So I think that would be a real, here comes Al, that would be a real boon and remove one of those barriers to planting natives. So we don't have another meeting scheduled because the group was asked, what do you want to do next? And there was no real definitive decision. So since I'm scheduling the meeting, it's like, let me know when you want to meet. Schedule a meeting. So, but that's where it stands. I'm working on those things behind the scenes.
Awesome. Thanks for the update. Does anyone have any questions or further conversation on that?
Is there a direction that this group thinks the pollinator pathway should pursue, I guess?
I'd be happy to help reach out to NOFA, try to get some answers.
Response?
Yeah, if you want some help, let me know.
Please. Yeah. Email them like, hey, Mansfield's interested in doing this, and we have some potential places that could be planting these plugs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Elena.
Hi, Al. I see you've joined us.
Hi there. Yeah, I'm here. Listening in.
Good to see
Traffic
you.
was rough tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for fitting us in your busy schedule. Okay, so we've got 1 minute to go. Let's talk about the 2022 meeting schedule. And I guess the question is probably, do we want to stick with this time? I don't know, is there a discussion about going back to in-person meetings, Ginny, or what's going on? What's the town recommending on that?
This group can do in person. Yep, that's fine.
Or we can stay hybrid? I mean, we can stay virtual?
You could stay virtual. Yep.
Okay.
And I mean, does 6 o'clock, is that a good time for folks? Or
Very
would
good
it
for
be
me.
better?
Yeah, it's fine
Pardon?
for me. Fine for me. Yeah, fine.
Bill likes it. Anyone else have a comment on the timing? Matt's got a thumbs up.
I'm fine with 6, and I would prefer to stay with virtual. I'm immunocompromised for one thing, and I also spend time up in Toronto now with my grandchildren, which is like today. So if this was in person today, I wouldn't be able to attend.
Oh, thanks for tuning in from Toronto.
Oh, that's very great.
It's a long stretch. It's a lot more difficult.
Katie, Al, how do you feel about, I know Al, anytime is probably difficult for you, but how do you feel about 6 on Wednesday? What is it, the whatever, second Wednesday?
I appreciate it. This is something that I didn't want to, slow you guys down with. So if you wanted to meet earlier, I mean, go ahead. But I mean, 6 o'clock is as good as it's going to get for me.
Yeah.
So if 6 o'clock works for everybody, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Would 6:30 be better? I mean,
No.
that- no.
No, it's the will of the committee, and I, certainly
Oh.
get that.
I'm sorry. I meant I thought you were putting that out as a general question. I'm curious to hear whether Al, if it would make things easier for Al, I could certainly switch to 6:30. I'm sorry.
Well, of course it would for me, but I'm just one member. It should be the will of the committee.
All right, well, it seems like in general, people like 6. We have a pretty, try to stick to a commitment to get done by 7. So it's pretty, yeah, you can plan your evening. And Al, if you're willing to stick with that, why don't we stick with 6 o'clock on the second Wednesday? Does that work for you, Lena? Awesome. Yeah, and we'll do, we'll just kind of assume virtual. If at some point we do in person, we'll make sure virtual's an option, but yeah, this is a lot fewer greenhouse gas emissions. We don't have to drive to the town hall and so on. And we'll just make sure we see each other in person sometime at the downtown fair and things like that. Community center, whatever.
Yeah.
Great. So Ginny, maybe you could map out what those dates look like and we can distribute them.
Yeah, I will.
Calendars. That's great. Awesome. So Lena, thanks for joining us. We'd love to have you join the committee if Ginny sent, well, I guess we sent the process. Gotta submit your name to the Committee on Committees and all that.
What
all that
happens
Dilberty stuff.
What happens next, did you
Yeah.
ask?
Yeah, I sent that in and I'm like, oh, I'm kind of nervous.
Oh, you'll be contacted by the town clerk. I don't know how soon she'll contact you, but the Committee on Committees meet once a month. It's a few council members, and it's virtual, and they just want to, it's kind of a meet and greet more than anything. So it's not like a job interview,
Good.
they understand you're volunteering your time and appreciate it. So, but she'll contact you as that meeting approaches, and so she'd give you the link, and then you would just meet with them.
Great.
And then
Elena?
and they'll make a recommendation to town council.
Okay.
Elena,
yeah.
maybe it's too late at 7:03, but sometime I'd be just curious to hear a little about your background and your particular interests. And but welcome to the committee if you're.
Well, thank
volunteer.
you. I'm a research writer at UConn, so I cover all of pretty much climate is my beat these days, no matter what the research, what department the research is coming out of. So I kind of do climate like research all the time at work, at home. So
Do you tend more towards the biological sciences or towards engineering, or what realms?
yeah, more biological, some ag, lots of ecology research, some geochemistry and geo sciences and stuff. I'm kind of a jack of all trades.
Gotcha.
My
Well, that's-
background is in microbiology, so
One of those.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's great. We're eager to have you join. Thanks for your interest. So with that, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I thought you
Awesome.
had something that you were going to add to the new business.
Oh my gosh. What was it, Ginny? Oh,
It was about the school, wasn't it?
dang, it threw me off my game. I don't like to have the reputation of going over. You guys
Well-
want to stay for another minute to hear about the school? 2 minutes?
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Just that this committee has advocated for deconstruction of Southeast Elementary School instead of just everything getting unilaterally tossed. It is Colliers that is the contractor dealing with the deconstruction and or with the old school building. And they are in the process of finding homes for the school furniture because all the furniture in the new school has to be new. They cannot, according to the principal, they can't bring any of their stuff, their furniture stuff into the new school. So it's all going to be brand new. I can do this. The committee doesn't need to do this at this point, but I can question Colliers and just find out what their progress is on alternatives to disposing all of this fine furniture that's in Southeast Elementary School. Are they finding homes for it? And also maybe while I'm at it, just talk about deconstruction. But I think this committee might, it's the school building committee that is driving this. So this sustainability committee might want to consider maybe at the next meeting, like just checking in with the school building committee, memo to them about, how they're doing with waste reduction efforts and that sort of thing. So that's it.
Yeah, we've brought it up so many times, so it's worth, reminding them. Maybe we can mention it to Susanna, a member of this committee who's not able to attend right now because she's teaching, but on the school board. And if anyone knows anyone on the building committee, get back to them. I'll do it right now over dinner. All right. Great. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely Thanksgiving and good to see you all.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank
you
all.
too.
Good to see you.
See ya.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.